I'm Todd Snackenberg, and I'm the arborist for the City of Franklin, and I'm here to tell you about tree topping today. We're going to talk about what it is and some of the reasons why it's bad and maybe some alternatives you can go through. As you can see right here to my right, we've got some river birch trees that have been severely topped. They're basically a perfect example of what not to do to a tree or the improper way to prune a tree. And what topping is actually cutting back limbs or the main portion of the tree where there's no lateral or good branch to take over that portion that you're cutting off. First of all, there's three main reasons why tree topping is bad. Number one, as you can see by looking at these trees behind me to my right, it looks horrible. It brings the tree's value down. It'll bring property values down. Number two, it's really bad for the tree. The tree's never going to be the same. The growth that comes out of the topping cuts will be sucker growth, which is basically limbs that don't connect the right way to the tree, and they will actually create more of a hazard than what you thought you may have had before. These limbs that are going to grow out, if they're left for 3 or 4 seasons, can become large, and we have windstorms in the area. We sometimes get ice, and they are attached to the remainder of the tree very weakly and can fall very easily. There's a couple alternatives to tree topping. One is to get a crown reduction. What a crown reduction is the proper way to trim a crown of a tree and actually reduce the size of that crown. There's proper cuts are made to good laterals to branches that can take over that dominant role. And any certified arborist with any experience can tell the difference between topping and a crown reduction and should be able to point you in the right direction. Another alternative might be to have the tree removed. If the tree's in declining health and you think it needs to be topped or somebody has told you it needs to be topped, it might just be that it needs to be removed. The stump needs to be ground, and then you can replace it with a smaller tree, something that's a little more friendly for the area if it's near a house or a structure or someplace you park. So here we've got another bad example, I should say a perfect bad example of what not to do to your trees. This is a small crepe myrtle that's kind of been grown into a tree form, which somebody has come in and actually topped. And you can see the uneven cuts, the bad cuts, and you know, this tree could possibly die because of this. And as I stand here telling you about this, I'm joined by Larry Mizell, and he's our landscape planner, and he's in the planning and sustainability department here at City Hall. And Larry, I brought you in today to discuss what actually is the city's policy on tree topping, and if you could just explain that a little bit to us.
Well, Todd, you know that crepe myrtles are dear to my heart. I'll say that first, okay? And that this is, of course, you said a bad example. And the thing about it is that this tree may never bud back out because of the way it was topped. Our policy is if you have a single family lot of 1 acre or less, we have no jurisdiction over your trees. Topping of them, cutting them down, planting them, that is in the zoning ordinance. But all lots, single family over 1 acre, and all commercial, residential, industrial, all of that comes on the zoning ordinance. And the zoning ordinance does not allow for the topping, taking the crown out of any canopy trees, which are the large trees, or the understory trees, which these crepe myrtles are now understory trees. And so that is a direct violation of the ordinance. And so when plans come through our department for approval for installation in these sites, I make sure that they note on there, they know that tree topping is illegal. And once I release a site also, and it's out there, the note's given to the owner. So we try our best to inform the public that it is not legal to top these trees. And so that's the main role that I play in that right now.
Okay. So if somebody, if one of these entities was then to come in and top their trees, what are the ramifications of that? How would the city hold them to it, or what could be some of the outcomes?
Well, if they see one, Todd, they need to either call you, or they call me, or call Building and Neighborhood Services and say where it is, what's topped, and what's gone. Then we would in turn investigate where it is, what it is, make a report on it, and give it to the proper people in the Building and Neighborhood Services to issue them a notice of violation. Now, the notice of violation could be that they need to replace the tree, they need to pay a fine, but we would work with them to correct the site and not to have that occur anymore.
All right, Larry, well, thank you for your expertise today. We really appreciate the time.
Thank you, Todd, for this opportunity to discuss this and to let the public know, and we hope that through this media we will be able to preserve what we have.
Here's another example of a tree that's been topped. There has been some proper pruning done on it for line clearance, but there are a lot of topping cuts, and you can see some of the sucker growth, some of these weak branch attachments that occur when a tree's been continuously topped. Now, the reason we're standing here directly underneath these high voltage lines is I'm here with Michael Johnson. He is the right-of-way specialist for Middle Tennessee Electric in Williamson County. And Michael, thanks for being out here today with us.
Glad to be here.
And I asked you to come out here to kind of explain Middle Tennessee Electric's tree trimming policy and why they actually would do this to a tree.
Well, we have to try to provide safe, reliable electricity. And the thought of a lot of homeowners has that if the tree falls in the line, it will take the power lines out, and that's the reason we trim trees. Yes, that is part of it, but the main reason that we trim the trees is for the growth of the trees. These trees are going to continue to grow, and we've got to protect those wires. The tree does not have to make contact with the wires for it to knock the power out. The tree can be close and the power jump over into the tree.
Right.
And we have to keep these trees safe and to provide reliable electricity, and where no homeowner comes in contact with the tree becomes in danger.
What would be an option for a homeowner for this particular situation?
Well, as far as Middle Tennessee Electric is concerned, our best solution to this problem is we would like to just completely remove the tree, because the tree is just being topped for years and years, or crown reduced, and it just provides stress to the tree, and we basically trim the tree to death, because we have to trim most of these trees every 2 years, and what we would like to do is just remove the tree completely, and grind the stump and replace it. And we do that in all maintained lawns. We have that program where we can replace the trees.
Okay, so what you're telling me then is a tree like this, you'll come out and remove it, grind the stump, haul everything off for free at no cost to the homeowner, and also come back out at the proper time of year and plant a replacement tree. And the Middle Tennessee Electric has got a list of approved trees that the homeowner can choose what kind of tree they like.
Yes, that's right, Todd. We plant trees from November the 15th, pretty much March the 15th. That's the proper planting times, and we'll replace them then. If you happen to get your trees removed in the summertime, you'll be on the list for the next fall, and the next fall you'll be one of the first ones on the list to get it planted.
Well, and here we're standing next to a tree that was replaced probably, about 4 seasons ago, you'd say?
I'd think so. It's probably about that size.
So basically the tree we were just at, the similar tree was here, it was removed, the stump was ground, and then a smaller tree was planted here, and this looks like what's to be a Kwanzaa cherry, and it's in bloom this time of the year, and a very beautiful tree, and you can see how, as it grows up, it's really not going to interfere with the power lines. It may need a little bit of a crown reduction, some of the stuff we've talked about earlier, but again, this is a possibility for many homeowners.
Right, yeah, this is a good example. This is a Kwanzaa cherry, and we plant several of these trees, and you can tell they look really good after 3 or 4 years. It doesn't take the trees long at all to get very big.
All right. Well, that's fantastic. That gives homeowners some good options, and they know a little bit more about Middle Tennessee Electric's policy and why you guys have to do what you do. And number 1, to keep the lights on, number 2, for safety, but there's also great programs to get your trees replaced and really make everybody happy.
Yes.
If somebody wanted to get a hold of you about replacement trees or removing trees, or any questions about tree trimming for Middle Tennessee Electric, how would they get a hold of you?
They can reach me by email at Michael, that's MICHAEL, Johnson, JOHNSON, @mtemc.com.
Well, Michael, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.